Hey YouTube, Andrew Sellers here. Welcome to Dragon's Dojo Gaming, and I am about to showcase you all the deck profile for my Blue Eyes deck. A deck that's been one of my personal favorites since I was a kid. And before 5Ds ever came out, Seto Kaiba used to be my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh character and still is my favorite out of every character before 5Ds. And now Kaiba is my third favorite character. Jack Atlas is my second, and Yusei Fudo, as many of you know, is my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh character. Eventually, I will be showing a deck profile for, a structure deck unboxing for the Red Dragon Archfiend structure deck when that comes out. I plan on ordering a whole set of it, a whole, not a whole case, but like, I plan on opening 3 structure deck boxes for it, and I will be uploading a video for that once I open all of it. And here we go with the Blue Eyes deck profile. The build I also have is currently incomplete. There's only a few things I'm missing, but once I get a few cards I'm missing for my build, I will upload another build with the update. So first and foremost, the key card of the deck, 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons. A legendary dragon of power is a powerful engine of destruction. Virtually invincible. Very few have faced this awesome creature and lived to tell the tale. He's the bread and butter of the deck. He's practically the most iconic and popular monster in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! At this point. He may not be the mascot like Dark Magician, but he's definitely... But he, at this point, is still more iconic than Dark Magician is. Next up, 2 Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon. It must first be special summoned by revealing a Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand. And its additional effect, it's treated as Blue Eyes White Dragon when it's on the field or in the graveyard after being summoned by its first summoning effect. And then its final effect is once per turn, you can target any monster on the field and destroy it. So you practically get to summon this guy for free, is treated as another Blue Eyes White Dragon, and you can use its effect to destroy monsters for free. Only downside to the card is that it can't attack the turn you decide to activate its effect to destroy a monster, but that's still a really sweet payoff in my opinion. Next up, 2 Dragon Spirit of White. Eventually, when I update my build, I'm going to be reducing Dragon Spirit of White to 1 in favor of putting 2 copies of the plain Blue Eyes White, of the Kaiba Corp plain version of Blue Eyes White Dragon that recently came out. Only reason I haven't gotten it yet is because it's really expensive, and I'm eventually trying to get to adding that card to the deck. But thanks to Dragon Spirit of White's, so here's what Dragon Spirit of White's effects are. It's treated as a it's always treated as a Blue Eyes card. It's also treated as a normal monster when in the hand or graveyard. And its other abilities are when it's special summoned, you can target an opponent's spell or trap and banish it. And its final effect is after it attacks, you can tribute it, then special summon a Blue Eyes monster a Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand. It's a pretty nice card. I wouldn't run it at 2 like I currently am once I update the build, but I think it's a pretty solid one of. Next up, 2 copies of Effect Veiler. I know most builds run it at 3, but I kind of liked it a little better at 2 in this build. But for this deck, I definitely think it's one of the better hand traps. Next up, 3 copies of Whitestone of Ancients. When Whitestone of Ancients is sent to your graveyard, you can special summon a Blue Eyes monster from your deck during your end phase. And its other effect is, when it's in your graveyard, you can banish it, target a Blue Eyes monster from your graveyard, and add it to your hand. And each effect of Whitestone of Ancients can only be used once per turn. Next up, 3 Sage with Eyes of Blue. When this guy is normal summoned, you can search your deck for any level 1 tuner monster and add it to your hand. And his other effect is you can discard him from your hand, then target a effect monster on your field and send that to the graveyard, then summon a Blue Eyes monster from your deck. And you can only use the second effect of Sage with Eyes of Blue once per turn. Finally, for level 1 tuners, Whitestone of Legend. In my opinion, you should only run this card at 1. It's an optional card, but I personally think it's only needed at 1 if you really want to play it. I personally like this card because it gives you a free Blue Eyes when you need it, and it's really good discard fodder when using cards like Melody of Awakening Dragon or Twin Twisters. Next up, 2 Nebula Dragon. His ability is you can reveal him and a level 8 dragon monster from your hand, summon both monsters in defense mode, and their effects are negated. And his other ability is that you cannot summon any monsters except light or dark dragon monsters for the rest of the turn. And his final effect is, not that it really matters for this deck, but his final effect is you can banish it from your graveyard to target a level 4 light or dark dragon monster in your graveyard and add it to your hand. Like I said, it doesn't really matter for this deck, but for other dragon decks, such as, say, Dragon Link, it does. Finally, 1 copy of Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. His ability is that in order to summon it, you have to banish a dragon monster to special summon it, and its other effect is once per turn you can target a hard once per turn actually. You can target any dragon monster in your graveyard and special summon it to the field. It was at 1 on the ban list for a long time, but ever since they gave it the hard once per turn errata, it's been unlimited. But honestly, I think that now that it is unlimited, it's only really good at 1. Now for the spell cards. 3 copies of Melody of Awakening Dragon. In my personal opinion, this is the best Blue Eye spell in this deck. This card's effect is discard 1 card, add up to 2 dragon monsters with 3,000 or higher attack and 2,500 or less defense from your deck to your hand. You could add Blue Eyes White Dragon, Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon, and hell, even though this card's highly not recommended for Blue Eyes decks, you could even add Blue Eyes Shining Dragon to your deck if you really wanted to play that card. I wouldn't recommend Blue Eyes Shining, but point is, it can search it. but this is definitely But this, in my opinion, is definitely the best spell in this deck, because you get to discard one card to add 2 monsters. Helps you get to alternative faster, for sure. 3 trade-in. You discard any level 8 monster from your hand to draw 2 cards. It's a Pot of Greed for discarding level 8 dragons in this deck. 3 Return of the Dragon Lords. One of its effects is that when activated, you target a level 7 or 8 dragon monster in your graveyard and special summon it. And its additional effect is that if any amount of dragon monsters on your field are about to be destroyed by battle or by card effect, you can banish it to prevent those dragons' destruction. It could definitely help against cards like Bottomless Trap Hole and Mirror Force if the opponent were to choose to play those. Not that a lot of decks use those cards anymore, but just in case they ever do, like, you could counter those cards. 3 Silver's Cry. You can only activate 1 Silver's Cry per turn, but you get to summon any dragon normal monster in your graveyard for free. And it's a quick play spell, so it's well worth only getting to use it once per turn. 2 Dragon Shrine. You can only activate 1 Dragon Shrine per turn, but when activated, you get to search for any dragon monster from your deck and send it to the graveyard. And if it ends up being a normal dragon monster, you can send an additional dragon monster from your deck to the graveyard once per turn. Really nice card in my opinion. It's pretty much a more balanced foolish. It's pretty much a more broken Foolish Burial for this deck. Speaking of Foolish Burial, I run 1 of it. Needs no explanation as to what it does. 1 Monster Reborn. 1 Change of Heart. I wish I could run triple tactics, but that card's just so expensive. 1 Called by the Grave, there for those pesky hand traps. 1 Twin Titties. A double Mystical Space Typhoon for discarding a card. Finally, for spells, 1 Cards of Consonance. Thanks to this card's effect, you discard 1 Dragon Tuner monster from your hand with 1,000 or less attack and draw 2 cards. A Pot of Greed for low attack Dragon Tuners in this deck. And finally, for my only 2 trap cards in the main deck, True Light and Ultimate Creation of Destruction. True Light says your opponent cannot target Blue Eyes White Dragon in your monster zone for card effects. If this face-up card is sent from the spell and trap cards under the graveyard, destroy all monsters you control. You can only activate 1 of the following effects of True Light per turn. Either special summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand or graveyard, or set a spell or trap directly from your deck that specifies the listing for Blue Eyes White Dragon's name from your deck to your hand, from your deck to your spell and trap zone. And the Ultimate Creature of Destruction says, target a Blue Eyes monster you control this turn. That face-up monster is unaffected by card effects, except its own. It can't be destroyed by battle, and if any opponent's monster battles it, it's destroyed at the end of the damage step. And its additional effect is when this card is sent to your graveyard, and if you normal or special summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon, you can set Ultimate Creature of Destruction from your graveyard face down. But when it leaves the field a second time, it'll get banished. Pretty solid. They're both pretty good cards. So here comes the fusions. Eventually, 3 of these fusions are going to get replaced. 2 Blue Eyes Twin Burst Dragon and 3 Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. Twin Burst requires 2 Blue Eyes White Dragons to summon and cannot be summoned from polymerization. And if you want to, you can contact Fusion summon it by sending the 2 Blue Eyes White Dragons from your field to the graveyard. It can't be destroyed in battle, and if it battles an opponent's monster, and if that opponent's monster isn't destroyed, you can banish that monster. And after it battles an opponent's monster, and if your opponent has another monster out on their board, it can attack a second time. And Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate's effect is, after this card attacks once, you can send any Blue Eyes fusion from your extra deck to the graveyard to give it another attack. And its effect can be used up to twice per turn. And its other effect is when it's in the graveyard, and if a Blue Eyes monster you control is about to be destroyed by a card effect, you can banish Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate from your graveyard to negate the destruction effect and destroy it. Eventually, I'm going to be taking it out for number 38. And the alternative version of Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon and Black Rose Moonlight. And I want to add Ancient Fairy Dragon to this deck as well. I have the card, but I have it in my Edison deck. Eventually, I want to get a different one. Now for these Synchro Monsters. 3 Azure Eyes Silver Dragon. I'm either going to take one of them out or just keep the playset, because Azure Eyes is actually kind of a nice card. Its effect is once per turn, you can target any normal monster in your graveyard. It can even be a Dark Magician or a Red Eyes Black Dragon, funny enough. And you get to special summon it. And on the turn, Azure Eyes is synchro summoned. Dragon monsters you currently control cannot be destroyed until the end phase of the next turn. Meaning, if you were to summon Azure Eyes from a synchro summon on your turn, your opponent wouldn't be able to touch it with card effects at all until their next end phase. And next up, we got 2 Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon. His effect is neither player can special summon 2 or more monsters on the same turn. And his other effect is once per turn, during either player's turn, when the effect of a monster in the graveyard is activated, you can negate that monster's effect and then destroy it. And its final effect is during your end phase, you can send Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon from your field to the graveyard to special summon a light attribute Dragon Synchro from your extra deck. Usually you want to go into Azure Eyes so that Azure Eyes' effect can take effect until your next end phase. And so that you can revive Blue Eyes on your standby phase. And depending on the situation, you'll want to go into Black Rose Moonlight as well. I don't have her yet, but I will get her eventually. And finally, for some Xyz monsters. Galaxy Eyes Cypher Dragon, Galaxy Eyes Cypher Blade Dragon, and the only one that really matters, Galaxy Eyes Full Armor Photon Dragon, or as my friend Jakari likes to call it, Doesn't Matter Dragon. I like to call it Doesn't Matter Dragon either, because it really doesn't matter. These don't matter. Their effects don't matter. Well, one of his effects does matter. You can summon one of the easiest way to summon this guy is by stacking it on top of a rank 8 Galaxy Eyes Xyz monster, meaning him. And then after you summon your Blade Dragon, you can use Full Armor Photon's effect to stack it on top of Blade Cypher. And Full Armor's effect is, once per turn, you can detach an Xyz material to target any card on the field and destroy it. Any face-up card the opponent has anyway. Oh, and I forgot to mention, once per turn you can do that with him as well, so all of his effects actually matter. It's only his effects that don't. And he requires 2 level 8 monsters to Xyz summon it. So that is it for my deck profile. I have 2 unsleeved cards that I'm gonna use to sleeve up the extra deck eventually. So like I said, the only Xyz monsters I feel like I'm missing for the extra deck that I really prefer to have are number 38, Ancient Fairy Dragon, Black Rose Moonlight Dragon, Blue Eyes Ultimate Alternative Dragon, and that's it. And for the main deck, I'm missing the Kaiba Court Plane version of Blue Eyes. Anyways, thank you all once again for watching my videos. Please like and subscribe for more content, and I'll be sure to keep bringing more to you. Anyways, have a good night, everyone. Peace out.